The Shadow, a cinematic Lego movie, 24 minutes long, all made by one single person. Wow. Alright, let's just stop all the bullshit and get into The Shadow movie review. Side note, I am just a kid and not a professional movie reviewer, but these are just my thoughts about this Lego movie. So this is The Shadow. It's a story about a boy named Josh and his friend Tim. As they are walking along the road, they go to a park. There the weather gets bad and a meteor hits him, completely crushing Josh. Luckily he is still alive and was taken to a hospital. Sharon, Josh's girlfriend, and Tim visit him there, but notice he's not the same. Then Agent Rookie interrogates Josh and take him away. Meanwhile, in the other side of town, Poison Jack tries to attack the professor because he turned Jack into a sort of mutant. Red Iron, the leader of the secret organization, convinces Poison Jack to get more titanium for their plan. Josh arrives at the EFD base where he meets Jim. He explains everything to Josh. The EFD fights against Europe's biggest criminals. Now they are fighting against Red Iron, who uses the power of meteors to outmatch the EFD. Josh accepts to train and helps the EFD, since he absorbed the power of the second meteor. He meets Sarah and Jake, who help him get stronger and use his powers. Josh trains hard and is ready to go on the mission. He goes with a plane and soldiers to the bar where Red Iron is. They manage to get the jump on the criminals and capture Poison Jack after Josh manages to gain the upper hand on him. Poison Jack tells Josh that Red Iron is building something. The professor built a suit for Red Iron, and now it's finished. Josh must fight him because Red Iron is too powerful for the police. Josh fights and wins. I think the plot in this movie works really well. There's a good balance between talking and action. I was really surprised by how good it turned out. The introduction of the villains was good, but what was missing was explanation of motivation for Red Iron, because now his side of the story is unknown, and everything he does feels empty. We also found out that he is Josh's dad. I mean, yeah, that's a cool plot twist, but we have never heard anything about it, and this plot hole was never explored. I did, however, feel some compassion for Poison Jack, because we know his motivations, and we know how messed up he actually is. In this movie alone, he kinda grew on me, because he has been through some nasty shit. I hope there will be a second movie where his character will be explored more. He has a lot of potential. And speaking about characters who have a lot of potential, I personally think Tim could have used some more screen time in this film. He was sort of important in the beginning, but then he had no real goal or direction. When he arrived at the EFD base with Sharon, it didn't add anything to the overall storyline, and there was no conversation between him and Josh about how the hell he survived the meteor, why they're in a secret base, and how he got those powers. So there was some potential wasted, I think. Another storyline that was on screen only very short was the journey of the villains, to call it that. The Shadow focused a lot on the hero's journey, but it's also important to spend time keeping up with what the villain's up to. In this case, that was Red Iron collecting titanium for his powerful suit. We do start the movie off with the villains as they try to open the vault, but we never got to know what's inside the vault and why they want it so bad. It was a pretty cool action scene though. One thing this movie did right all the time was humor. Man, I laughed hard at some jokes, especially at Chuck and Krug, when they were talking about how happy they were not having to fight in Leon. This was so well placed, after the whole serious scene where Red Iron is pissed and mad and talking to the professor, to completely unserious and a funny scene. Nothing negative to say about the humor.
Dude, I'm so happy we didn't have to fight in Leon. Me too, we would have died else. Yeah, but the problem with that what is it? I don't know. Thanks for your help. No problem.
I don't think there's a deeper meaning or purpose behind this movie, but I think that's fair because it was made by one person and he's only 16 years old, so yeah. If I had to take a guess, the purpose of this movie was that anything is possible, and if you train hard, you can overcome anything. Now let's talk about the animation. There was a clear improvement throughout the movie. The animation starts off kind of wacky and unprofessional, but it keeps improving. On one hand, that's good, but it does create some inconsistency. For almost the whole first half, the scenes get dragged down because of the animation. I think the problem was that the animator was still figuring out how to animate and improve on that. But I'm not complaining because we still got a great movie. About the camera work, I have noticed that it's mainly wide and medium shots, and that even carries on into the fight scenes, where close shots usually should be used. Now, every move the characters make, we see it all happen, but with close shots, you sometimes don't fully see what movement the characters are making. There were no real shots that were something completely different, it was all wide and medium. That is something that could be improved on. For the sound, it was decent, some sounds were really overused, I think. There was one sound in particular that I heard all the time. And in the final fight, there were surprisingly few sound effects. This is something which should never happen, and I know how painful editing sound can be from time to time, but it makes scenes so much more alive and just breathes life into your animation. So hopefully in future animations, there will not be any silent moments where they shouldn't be. And now, the visual effects. Yeah, they're fine, but come on. Sometimes when I rewatch this movie and I see those visual effects, I just think that could have been better. And I know he's just one person and he can't afford expensive effects like professional studios can, but there are some free effects out there. For example, on Footage Grade, you can find some very good effects, and there are a lot of free ones to choose from. Well, that about concludes what I think of this movie. Be sure to watch it if you can, because it deserves much more credit than it got. I may have criticized it too hard or too soft, but I just kept it in the middle because, like I mentioned a couple of times, he is only one guy. I don't know if there will be a follow-up movie to this one, but I truly hope he will make one. Not just because the story is awesome, but also to see him improve on every aspect that could be improved on. And just one more thing. How the heck did Sharon gain Shadow's powers? I mean, wait. We all know, right? I mean, it's really not that... Okay. Enough. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please subscribe and like the video. With that said, I'll see you soon. Bye.